It's the Empire City, a global leader in business, culture, and innovation. New York can add rugby to that list as hometown Rugby United power into the second half of the season, ready to defend the Empire. A very good afternoon to you from MCU Park, Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York City. I'm John Broker, joined by two-time USA Rugby Coach of the Year, Steve Lewis. We're here to bring you the hometown Rugby United New York versus the visiting San Diego Legion. Two teams brimming with confidence.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this clash today. It should be absolutely mouth-watering. Both teams, as you say, John, filled with talent on both sides of the ball. We have established performers from across the globe, as well as some good local up-and-coming talent.
And here's a look at the current standings in Major League Rugby, where Rugby United is currently ranked 4th and San Diego ranked 5th. Steve, a lot of implications today. What's at stake?
Yeah, as you know, John, so 4 teams out of 9 make the playoffs. So every point counts right now as we go into the home stretch. For San Diego and New York, this is vital. They're both trying to close the gap on New Orleans at the top.
And there's a lot of good teams closing in. It is a very competitive end to the season that we have coming up. We're now going to go to the field level with World Rugby Hall of Famer Phaedra Knight.
Mike, congratulations on a near-perfect season, only one loss so far. You have on a 5-game winning streak. What has it taken for you to get to this place?
I think a lot of hard work by the guys. You know, they've been very resilient. It's not easy to play in a major city like New York, but the guys have been great, really worked hard, and veteran leadership has been a big part of it. They've helped guide the ship, helped me, and make my job easier.
And you've had a lot of success on the New York sports scene. What does it mean to you to coach this brand new MLR team in your hometown?
Well, it's really amazing. You know, Xavier and New York Athletic Club were amazing experiences, and this is another New York experience. Trying to bring some of the same principles and same ideas to the game, and so far it's worked out well, so it's exciting for me.
Thank you so much, Mike, and good luck today.
Thanks, Phaedra.
Now we'll look at the lineups for today's game. Steve, tell us about this New York team.
Yeah, quite a few changes from their last outing against Austin, where they chose to rest some of their senior players. We have Fawcett, Rochford, and Ryan in the front row, McDonald coming to the second row. And as we move to the backs, probably the most significant change is the return of the marksman, Cahill Marsh, at fly half. Important both as a goal kicker and a playmaker.
They're going to be counting on him. And as for San Diego, they are littered with big-name veterans and current stars. In the forwards, make sure to keep an eye on Lou Stanfill. The 33-year-old World Cup veteran is going to be a key to keeping this side intense, along with the phenom Sam Wuching. He's growing in stature all the time as he crosses over and learns more rugby. He'll have an impressive outing today. In the backs, the battle out wide is going to be interesting as Dylan Audsley, another national team player, is going to control the wide channels for this San Diego team, joined by the always unpredictable and exciting Mikey Teo at fullback. He is going to be a big, big force for this San Diego side. And those are your teams. When we come back, they'll be on the pitch and ready to kick off this Major League Rugby contest. Magner's Irish Cider, the official hard cider of New York's professional rugby franchise. Motion PT, get back to what moves you. Visit motionpt.com to find a physical therapy location near you. Tourism Louisiana. Louisiana Tourism, don't just live the moment, be the moment. Visit louisianatourism.com to plan your trip today. And welcome back to MCU Park. We are set for first half action between Rugby United New York and the San Diego Legion. This is John Broker with Steve Lewis, ready for this kickoff. We're going to take a look at today's head referee, Elgin Williams. We'll be talking about him as the game goes on. You see coming from right to left on your screen, Cathal Marsh in blue for Rugby United gets us underway and kicks this game off. Legion take one in quick off the kickoff there, and they're set to run with Augsburger. Augsburger, certainly a star. Played some rugby in New York. We'll talk about that in a bit, so he's a bit back on a home trip. And a high kick there from the Legion as they put it downfield, but it was from in front of the 22, so they're going to move back. It'll be a line out here for Rugby United.
Yeah, just an initial early error there by Nate Augsburger. They chose to go blindside, set up a ruck, look for the box kick, just a little bit inaccurate.
Tail, please.
First line out of the game here as we take a look at Dylan Fawcett. Dylan Fawcett from Wexford, Ireland, plays with the U.S. national team, the Eagles. He is an active player. We'll see a lot of him today as Nate Brakeley, the Dartmouth graduate, takes down that ball, and a great drive there from Rugby United, from New York. Fawcett always dangerous here as you see the San Diego players starting to wrap around. They get to the 22 of the San Diego Legion, and they are on the run with Mike Petrie. Hands on the ball to Roachford. Petrie again has to dig the ball out this time, just a little bit slower. And it's up to one of their forward pods, and they're just going to bash it in through Ross Deacon, an inspirational player for this side. You will see a lot of him ball in hand, a big ball carries. A quick slip out there goes Ben Foden, the English international. Moves it back into Connor Wallace-Sims. Wallace-Sims safely down outside the 22. New York moves across the field, doesn't find any forward movement. Have to regather here as Cathal Marsh has to take that one in on his own. Ball coming back to James Denise. Denise, one of the top try scorers for this New York team so far in this Major League Rugby season. Another ball comes up here, and we're waiting pot of forwards. Good strong defense from the San Diego team in these opening 2 minutes as we are underway. And Cathal Marsh puts one up high for Samu Smith to run onto. Ball hits the ground, but they had a free play there as there was a penalty. And we're going to come back for a penalty for New York in a great position. Steve, New York, great team, really on a winning streak here. Let's talk about some of the keys to their game.
Yeah, well, we just saw it there. They need to dominate the set piece. That's both the scrum and the line-out. You saw an example right there with a good line-out getting 15, 20 yards. They need to maintain discipline, i.e. not give anything away, no silly mistakes, no flashes of temper. And the final part is shutting down Joe Peterson, the San Diego fly half, who for my money is the MVP in the league so far.
Wise words there from two-time USA Coach of the Year, Steve Lewis. Certainly knows what he's talking about as New York has put themselves in an amazing attacking position here, just about 5 meters out from the line. This has been a place where Dylan Fawcett has scored a number of tries this year.
Yeah, this has been a real source of points for the New York team. They're very accurate in their line-out. Goes to the back at Brakeley there, and he set it up, and it's very, very difficult to defend when this is constructed well.
And it's difficult to defend right now as New York is driving towards the line. Fawcett, ball in hand.
Now, back foot.
Referee says it's okay. It's going to the ground. They've splintered some people, but they haven't quite made it. Fawcett, has he reached over? Has not, as the ball comes down to the ground. And it looked like an early try there, and it was. New York touches down the first one. The big boys taking it in the air, bringing it in tight, and scoring a great try.
Yeah, great stuff there. Again, we talked about the set piece. New York going back to the well, going back to what they know works for them. Goes back to Fawcett. He was held up initially. They recycled once, and it looked like McDonald got over the line.
We'll see again who scored that, but great work from the team there as Chris Mattina comes across, and interesting. Looks like Chris Mattina is going to take over the kicking duties.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, so here we go back to the score.
Dangerous coming to hit him a bit early. They're trying to pull
We'll
and
get
sack
that
them
timing
all,
right,
obviously,
yeah.
but just look for
I was
the
happy
timing.
with the tight head for White. His
Yes.
contact was in time.
Okay, just
Mattina is going to take this kick.
Yes, and as
Oh,
you
sorry,
mentioned, as you mentioned, coming into the game, we thought Cathal Marsh, who is a proven goal kicker, would be doing it, but perhaps they've gone with Chris Mattina. He's been kicking regularly for them and doing very well, in fact.
And that kick is good according to our assistant referees. We are at 7-0, the home team, Rugby United New York, over San Diego, just a couple of minutes into this Major League Rugby matchup.
Yep, that's a great start. That's the ideal start for Mike Tolk and his New York coaching staff. Whatever, 2 minutes on the clock, 7 points up, and early command.
San Diego gets underway again through that man, Peterson. And now it is New York's turn. Rolling that ball outside of the 22. Petrie controls the game
Just
so
knock on
well.
the tackle,
Great rushing
scrum
defense
advantage.
on Brakeley there. Brakeley knocked it back, and we have a breaking
Score
run
back,
here.
over.
Looking Ben Foden, the English international. He's going to find some room. Made a lot of meters. Gets to Seymour Smith, the exciting young player out of Southern Connecticut. He puts in a little offload to James Denise, and Denise touches down in the corner.
Time's
Referee is going to want to talk to his assistant referee, but for all money, it looks like James Denise has done an early try there with a little offload from Smith off a great Ben Foden break.
Two fantastic pieces of skill there. Ben Foden, the former England international, springing it from defense into attack with a good 40-50 meter run, linked up with Seymour Smith on the right wing. Here it is again. Ben Foden breaks through a lot of traffic there. Balanced runner, looks to pass, goes back to the right, handoff, manages to feed Seymour Smith, injects a little bit of pace up the right side, and then a sublime
Just a little bit
right-handed
this way,
back
please.
flick
Thank you.
to James Denise, who's right there for the score.
Yeah.
You just got to appreciate
mind
that
either.
from Seymour Smith. Young player, up-and-comer, has the confidence and the skills to turn that hand out in the offload at the right time, not just looking for it and put Denise away. What a great move there from Seymour Smith.
Yeah, terrific piece of skill. He has coached him quite a bit at sevens, and he can be a dynamic player. And that you saw, you got a little glimpse there what he's capable of.
And Mattina for a second shot at goal here. Doesn't find that one. It is going to be 12-0, under 7 minutes gone in this absorbing contest here in front of some fans at MCU Park here in Brooklyn, New York City, as Peterson, probably a bit surprised there, as Seymour Smith turns back in field.
Inside.
Petrie this time looking for a runner and finds Brakeley. Brakeley has Quill. Petrie has Foden at the back for a kick, and Foden
Forward, just hold, please.
clears his lines there, puts it just about 30.
Thank you.
Let's talk about some keys to the game for San Diego here.
Here's your mark, fella, on my left, please.
They need to win that breakdown battle. There are some physical players on this New York team. They're going to have to win that ball and keep the game moving and control the tempo of the game, which they haven't been doing now. New York's been able to get away with it, as well as control that outside speed there of this New York side. Ball goes to the ground there in front of Duplessis. He's going to keep
Backwards.
this little bobble back and forth, and it looks like New York has picked this one up quickly on a San Diego mistake. Marsh waiting for the ball. Marsh puts one in behind there, outside to O'Keefe. O'Keefe finds Mattina. Mattina goes quickly to Connor Wallace-Sims. He's met with a couple of defenders. Can certainly make something out of nothing when he needs to. Great counterattack there from San Diego, and San Diego away. San Diego looks like they're going to score a try and get themselves on the board. Have done. 5 points in the corner for the San Diego Legion, just off a New York mistake.
Yeah, back to your point there about keys to victory. That was a breakdown battle that San Diego won. They came in, forced a turnover, and were quick to capitalize on it. As discussed, wasn't clean ball by New York. San Diego stronger at the breakdown, and that's the prop. Paddy Ryan, the Australian prop, putting in right winger.
Tota Vasa'u scores that one, the Fijian-born winger for this San Diego team. Dots it down. Tough kick here for Peterson, but he can certainly hit from this angle should he need to. Peterson, born in Cape Town, played for a number of Super Rugby franchises. Now plying his trade in San Diego.
Yeah, this promises to be a fiery encounter now. 3 scores in under 9 minutes.
We are certainly seeing some running rugby here. It's exciting to see as San Diego really had to do something there and did, putting some points on the board.
Yeah, it's been something of a trend, actually, increasing scores as the season's worn on. So I don't know if that's bodies getting beaten up or it's a lack of defense coaches, but certainly the points are being powered on in Major League's 2nd season.
And they both rank, you know, New York is 5th in attack overall. San Diego's 6th in attack, so they're both kind of mid-table in their attacking. But this San Diego defense is ranked number 1.
Oh, funny you should say that. Yeah, they're ranked 1 and RUNY's ranked 2. We're not seeing that right now, though.
We are certainly not seeing that. We'll see as the game goes along, but certainly the will to attack from both of these teams is fantastic as Marsh is going to get us going here again for New York.
Okay,
Marsh. The Dublin-born fly half for this team, having a good season, really an inspiration, and taking that kickoff is New York, and they are on the run again with Petrie. Petrie finds Denise to try score. He's met by Duplessis quickly. Ball to ground. Petrie digs it out. Moves the ball to Marsh. There is Patty Ryan, the New York one. Puts a ball into Seymour Smith. Seymour finds some space through. Throws a little awkward pass there. Turns it over to San Diego. Ill-advised that time. It worked on the first one. We're going to come back to a penalty against New York. San Diego get a chance to clear their lines here.
Tight head, off feet.
And if you're new to the game of rugby, here are some of the laws of the games. 15 players on each team during the game with 8 reserves, making 23. Like basketball, everybody plays offense and defense. There's 5 ways to score in this game. No forward passes and continuous play through the game.
So let's talk a little bit about climactic conditions, John. You and I both got here this morning, 10 a.m., and it was a little bit of foggy dew here at the beach in Coney Island. It cleared up a little bit, but seems to be coming back in, and we can see the beach from here. Certainly the fog still remains. A little bit of a wind field side as well.
And we'll see what happens. When we got here, you couldn't have seen the field at all. As the ball goes back to Foden on that San Diego kick, and he's calm back there. Pushes one down, does the veteran fullback. San Diego has gotten a little bit of territory there, and they're going to play further down the field.
And as you can see from the
lineup, go ahead.
Yeah, as you can see from the touch, the assistant referee's flag, Foden kicking into the wind there. So it's probably a better kick than it looks like just from the yardage gained.
Absolutely. And the setting behind us here, right on the Coney Island boardwalk, we got the Coney Island Amusement Park right next to us. Great setting for rugby, great setting for a day for the family here in Brooklyn. As we take a look at Dean Muir, another big veteran here. The 30-year-old puts a ball up, and San Diego on the move.
Penalty advantage.
San Diego gets a penalty advantage there, possibly for that high tackle. Brakely puts in a big tackle.
Still penalty advantage now.
Referee Williams informs us we still have a penalty advantage. So San Diego essentially has a free play here. See what they can make of it. San Diego on the run. San Diego with Smith, takes down Duplessis. A little try for an offload there. Is the referee going to allow it? Thought it went forward, and it did. And we're going to come back for that penalty.
Yeah, I just tried to force the pass there at the end, but penalty advantage, it looks like, as you mentioned, from referee Elgin Williams. San Diego, interesting choice here, probably bang it into the corner, trust their line out.
I would say they certainly need those points. We will come back to that. A couple of early on both sides out wide, just trying to force those passes a little bit, make something happen. It worked for New York once, but these defenses may be able to recapture this as the ball does get pushed down.
It's what you tend to see today, in you know, maybe three years ago or more, people go for the points, they trust their kicker, go for goal. These days they tend to go down, put it in the corner and trust their line out. The opportunity of getting 5 points rather than 3.
Muir, 5'11", 230-pound hooker from Durban, South Africa, puts it up into the trusty Lou Stanfield's hands. Lou Stanfield, as you said before the game, veteran of multiple World Cups, real driving force for this team. Bringing his knowledge to the San Diego Legion side. Nate Augsburger, heralded sevens player as well as 15s, puts that one out. And Augsburger again looking for a runner and finds him on the move. Is San Diego. San Diego now on the move. A little
Scrum
bobble
advantage.
ball. Lucky there for New York. They're going to get an advantage. They have forced that turnover. It'll come back to a scrum, but Dylan Fawcett wants to run. Dylan Fawcett gets to the Patty Ryan. Patty Ryan tries to get his arms free, but works through a couple. Gets taken
Back foot,
down
please.
there by
Scrum
Dylan
advantage
Audsley.
over.
Foden looks for his way through. Marsh has ball in hand again. Marsh draws some defenders when he runs the
No
ball.
light! Okay, 8 out you go,
Defenders
please.
in white just
Stop, fellas.
piling over there. A little counter ruck going on as Mike Petrie is going to have to dig this one. And he moves the ball again to Patty Ryan. Patty Ryan
Back foot!
safely works that ball back.
Use
and now
it.
Petrie is going to look for the box kick. This is one of his better skills of many. And he hangs one up to put a little pressure on. It's Ryan again who gets down there on that
Look,
one.
no hands.
As San Diego takes it cleanly. Now Augsburger team has reset there. They put a little tip pass in and they're running into the middle of the field there and maintaining their feet. Great offload.
That's open play.
And now picked up by Roachford. Petrie gets a bit of a slow ball. Foden puts one wide. Wallace Sims, a little bobble, but able to hang on to it. And Wallace Sims sets it. They've got the whole field if they want as they start to reset.
Yeah, there's a long passage of play here, right? So both sides putting together some good, skillful stuff, but then letting themselves down after 5 or 6 with maybe a
Tackle
loose
release.
pass or just a poorly executed piece of skill. But
No,
again, long passage of play here. This will be testing their lungs.
Use it.
Petrie working that ball out the back. Cahal Marsh, you can see him in screen there, looking for some runners coming outside of him, but they go to the box kick for Wallace Sims to run onto. Mikey Teo, the electric fullback for the San Diego Legion side, takes that one down. And they move it away quickly to the side there. Off they go. San Diego on the move as Augsburger sneaks through a couple. He is dangerous. And we have a one-on-one here. Foden can't make the tackle. Audsley can't receive that pass, but was able to pop it up to the other Patty Ryan. And it's knocked on there. And again, a line break from San Diego. And again, a little knock-on. Saves it for New York.
Yep, that's what we're seeing. Just a lack of execution just on the final play. So there it is, former Bronx native Nate Augsburger sniping run side of the scrum. Links up with his winger. Almost breaks free. Seymour Smith's tackle, and then a loose ball. They're unable just to finish it off, San Diego there.
And Toto Vasa'u there scored one try already. He would have loved to get another one, then couldn't quite get away that offload. New York able to get away with it again.
So yeah, it's one of the interesting subplots today. You have 4 guys in the San Diego Legion who are actually spent a lot of time in New York, played a lot of rugby in New York. Nate Augsburger, Ryan Matchis, and Dean Muir for Old Blue, and Lou Stanfield for New York Athletic Club. So they're back here in New York, playing with and against sort of, you know, friends and enemies. Frenemies, I suppose.
Set.
Free kick there to New York as they've drawn a scrum penalty, and we're going to check in with Phaedra Knight.
Hi, fellas. Yes, New York keeping a close eye on Ross Deacon, number 8, grabbing his shoulder through all this intense hitting. So just keep a lookout on him. He may end up being subbed out before the end of the first half.
Thanks, Phaedra. And back to action here. New York has moved it downfield, but since it was a free kick, it'll be a put in on the line out for the San Diego Legion, just around their own 40-meter line. As things are starting to settle in here.
Blue on the line.
And the folks coming back in, though. It's getting pretty cloudy out there.
It is a little cloudy out there. We can still see it on the field.
5 man.
Another look at Muir. Has hit Stanfield at front of the line out already. Now they go looking for Stanfield again, but at the tail this time, he's able to get down to Augsburger, who hoists one into that foggy night. Seymour Smith running back onto it. Seymour Smith lets it roll. As it continues to roll, Maddie is trying to get to it, but it's out the back. We're going to come all the way back down the field from where they kicked it for a scrum for the New York team here. Right now in Brooklyn, we were talking about the fog just a little bit. Temps about 61 degrees. Not a heavy wind there, so the kicking will be okay, but it's a beautiful day for rugby. Maybe a little rain as we go in the game, but as we said, the fog is a big story. It's starting to roll in off the Coney Island boardwalk and cover this field.
Yeah, it's a wee bit chilly on the boardwalk. I'm not sure there are too many brave souls out there in their bikinis, let's put it that way.
Maybe later in the season, Steve, we'll get that, but not today.
Crouch.
So look at Petrie, another local boy here. Mike
Nine.
Petrie from just a couple of miles away in Brooklyn. Played at
Set.
Xavier, Penn State, collegiate All-American,
Music.
captained our national team a couple times, went to 3 World Cups. Certainly a great player. And Seymour Smith receives it off the back of that scrum from Petrie. Finds just a little bit of a way through as they look for a forward pod coming around into the middle of the field. They've got options either way, so they want them. Looks like they can go to the backs there, but turned over by San Diego in that contact, and they are on the run. Trying to hold them up is Nate Brakely.
Back foot, push,
Players
push.
eventually to the ground, which means they all have to release. And San Diego, for now
2
at
feet
least,
behind.
will have this ball.
Use it, 9.
Augsburger being told to use this one. Augsburger launches it. Safely under it is Foden. He doesn't have a problem. Foden again finds a break there. Thinks about the offload. Does not, however, and they're going to go to Marsh. Marsh has got some runners. Marsh has Dylan Fawcett. They're going to play latched
man.
over it there
No, it's
from
not.
San Diego, but he's been taken away, so they can run again. And Marsh goes to the boot this time. But Totovasau, 6'5", 216-pound wing, didn't get himself in flight there where he would have been in danger. Knocks it on. It's going to be a scrum here for New York off of that
That's
mistake.
a water break, fellas. Water break.
It's time for a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment with more first half rugby action.
When they fall on it and they keep it on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
talk-
thank you. I'm not fine the initial go, but then when they fall, then I'm like,
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Just if the last one,
Yeah.
if I have good pressure on the hinges of deck, or
Yeah.
going this way, can I let go continue over the top?
For me, the scrum was over there. Both players are lost. Yeah, the ball's available at back. If there's someone going forward, I will reward that.
That's what we want when I go forward. It seems to be like I'm going straight.
Perfect. We'll keep the height level.
Stay straight, you stay straight on one side.
Push it.
We're break. Good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. Reload. Yeah. Look at this. Of course, yeah. Thank you.
We're back, and it's 12-5. The hometown Rugby United New York over the San Diego Legion.
yeah,
Exciting first 20 minutes.
Okay, guys, scrum.
We're ready for the rest of this first half. It will be a scrum to New York, just outside the 22, around the 40-meter line of the San Diego Legion. Great attacking spot here.
Yeah, so first 20 minutes there, you know, you'd probably say even Stevens in terms of territory and possession. New York probably just shading a little bit and deserving their 12-5 lead at this stage. They do have this scrum now, as you say. Their scrum has been a weapon. Hopefully they'll be able to exploit this situation.
They have the runners to do it. They certainly have Ross Deacon at the back of
Okay,
this and
time's
some
up.
forwards ready to roll if they choose to go that way. They do have their backs lined out. You can't quite see it in screen here.
Crouch.
We see
Fine.
Petrie, a local school
Set.
teacher, to put this one in.
Well, they're making no surprise here. They're going to go right.
And they've lost that ball in the
That-
scrum.
that-
It is won by San Diego, and they have some room, and Augsburger certainly knows where to go. Augsburger
Back foot.
gets the ball once again and puts it back to his forwards.
Okay, check.
That was a great scrum for San Diego. I don't think that's happened to New York this season.
That-
They've typically been the dominant scrum every game.
Keith Lensing, the forwards coach, will not be too thrilled with that as Mikey Teo finds Mattias. Mattias finds some room to run. He's got somebody on his jersey in O'Keefe. O'Keefe is going to have to take him down, but Mattias fights to keep his feet, and they're inside the 22 with a head of steam. Ball comes to Peterson. Peterson moves it across the field there into Manihara's hands.
Okay, thank you. Penalty advantage.
Penalty advantage here as Big Patty Ryan slips a ball across, and that one gets pushed forward. We're going to go back to the penalty for San Diego, and oh, how fortunes can change.
Well, there we were talking about New York dominating the set piece. That was their attacking platform, 40 yards out. They were shunted off the ball by the opposition, and that allows San Diego to march down the field, and now they've extracted a penalty. Certainly kickable. Looks like it was for a deliberate knock-on. Seems to be what the assistant referee is discussing.
I think what they've come back with, and now For anybody new to the game, there's 5 ways to score in the game. There's a 5-point try, a 2-point conversion, which is a kick after, 3 points for a penalty kick, 3 points for an in-game drop kick, which you can do, and a penalty try if somebody impedes away if somebody going in is a full 7 points.
But the important thing here is if the referee goes to his pocket. If this is considered deliberate
5
and
white,
worthy of a
please,
yellow
and 6
card,
blue.
which looks like it's happening, New York will play a man down for the next 10
6
minutes.
blue, please.
And he's calling out John Quill. Let's listen to what referee Williams has to say.
Okay, fellas, we had a good game up to now, okay? What I want to see is rugby values, okay? The game played in the right spirit, nothing else happens off the ball. Is that clear? Okay, please can we play rugby from now on?
I'm done with it.
Thank you. Great, cheers, gents. So it's going to be deliberate
The
knock-on.
referee just tells the two players to be a little
So
more
it's
gentle to
counting
one
here
another.
to you.
I wouldn't want to tussle with either of those guys.
Intentional knock-on.
The brawler John Quill getting a little off the ball scuffle there, but referee calms it down and just wants to move ahead with the game. It'll be a penalty for San Diego. Certainly kickable for Peterson if he'd like.
So, yeah, John Quill, the hard man. And was that his former roommate on tour, Lou Stanfield? I didn't quite catch that there.
I think that was Jasavera Malua.
And then can see from here.
Peterson goes for the corner. They want the 5 points. This San Diego team, they will try to drive this one in. Muir quickly with ball in hand. He is ready to see
Yes,
if he can
please,
best his
Judge.
opposite number, Fawcett, in this driving position. Ball a little messy there, goes to the
Not
tail and
straight.
didn't go straight. New York lucky again. That's another trip inside the 22 for San Diego where they've made a mistake and New York has capitalized, been able to move the ball away.
100%.
So here we go, next scrum. So will the New York be a little more solid and stable here?
So
They need that in order to get a good exit to get out of this area of the field.
Take a look at this here. Just it looks like a little miscommunication. Nobody knew who was supposed to get that ball for San Diego. They won't be too thrilled in the coaching box with that miscue. But they have taken one scrum against the head here from this New York team. The team putting it in always has a distinct advantage.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Stable.
Together and more solid this time.
That's one of the big individual matchups here. You've got Dean Muir and Dylan Fawcett going head-to-head at hooker. 2-3 years ago, both of them were teammates at Old Blue and went head-to-head for the hooker spot. Some played hooker a couple of weeks, played number 8 a couple of weeks, but they're both key players for their teams, respective teams.
Old Blue, a legendary high-level team here in New York that's produced a lot of players into Major League Rugby, been brought up into those ranks. Now playing professionally across the country. Referee's going to bring this one back up.
Yeah, it was one of the great advantages the New York franchise had, actually, is that you had a lot of established players in this city, both the Old Blue and their long-time rivals, the New York Athletic Club. So both those clubs, created a basis, a nucleus of players from which James Kennedy's franchise could draw.
Crouch. Scrum set to go again. Petrie.
Bind.
He's the traffic controller. He makes things work for this New York team. Whether they want to go fast or go slow, when they move it wide to keep it tight, Mike Petrie is always there. Certainly smart. And we're going to reset again. It's getting a bit ugly. And we'll just
keep working hard.
We're going to shoot down and check in with Phaedra once again on the sidelines.
Yes, fellas, things may slow down a little bit on this right wing for San Diego with Totu Fasal wrapping up that left hamstring. We'll see as the game progresses.
Thank you, Phaedra. We're back to the scrum here. Petrie, seen a lot of him today. He came up from that New York Athletic Club, one of the elite clubs here in New York City. In the professional ranks. He actually came out of retirement to start playing.
Set.
It must be a bit of a bolter for the World Cup, which we'll talk about in a minute. And penalty against San Diego there for incorrect drive inside of that scrum, and it's going to be a penalty for New York. A little bit of chat going on between these two teams, but New York gets it better at that time and couldn't get a better result for this one.
Yeah, well, when you talk about exit plays, right, you can either kick the ball, thump the ball down the field 20, 30 yards, or you can dominate a scrum, extract a penalty, and then you have a freer, easier kick, which is what's just happened.
I just need you to give me a clean picture. And if he's sliding in, if you'll stay straight.
Another look at the scrum here as it's a dominant push at first there from this San Diego side, but they start coming in on an angle there. That's what the referee saw, and that's what the referee called. New York didn't get too much distance there, but they're going to go to a line out. Safely down with Quill.
White off feet. That's inside.
Not as clean as they would like it. They are still inside the 22, according to the referee. So they can kick this directly in a touch if they would like. Petrie seems to be setting up for a kick here. Gets his shield of forward players there with Ryan at the back. Doesn't get the distance he would have wanted. Ball is still in play, and now it is in San Diego hands. A miscue from Mike Petrie there. And Augsburger in there quickly, but hands in from New York. The referee's going to go on. Mike Teo, always on the ball, always ready to go. Gets the team moving again. Don't know if they were not 10, if they have another penalty, but San Diego knocks that one on. The ball comes down there, and they may be on the run as O'Keefe moves it to Matina. Matina has Smith outside of him. He's taken to the ground there. Good counter ruck from San Diego. We'll see who gets this. Petrie's going to wind up with it as the ball comes back to Denise. Denise gets the ball to the ground. Petrie calling for some forwards again, or looking for a little pod here. Decides that that'd be a better idea. Moves the ball off to Ryan. Ryan has Fawcett with him, but slightly split apart there from some good hard work in those contact areas from San Diego. Inside their own 22, they're going to want to change these fortunes, this Rugby United side. And Petrie goes a little bit longer this time. And finds touch. Mikey Teo decides to take it and slow it down just a little bit. And while we're waiting for this line out, Rugby United New York just wants to say a big hello to James Capper. James Capper, a rugby legend in the New York area. Watching this game from a nursing home in upstate New York. James Kennedy, the owner of the team, the Petries, a lot of other players would like to say hello. Take another look at our action.
Space, please, lads.
Heads up play in New York here as you saw that ball come out from San Diego and just get knocked forward there, but they're certainly ready to go on it. As again, we come back to action. They have managed to take away that lineout from San Diego. Simu Smith nearly turned it over there, but they're okay, and they're going to keep going as Petrie looking for that box kick again, and we have a penalty here against San Diego. I think that was against Lou Stanfill, and this time Mike Petrie decides to go quick. Not something he does consistently and may not pay off as San Diego's turned it over. And we have some sloppy play from both teams here in these last couple of minutes as San Diego is on the run. They have some players out wide if they'd like them. They keep it tight with their Paddy Ryan, Australian Paddy Ryan, and Augsburger finds his mark, and they go around the back there to Peterson.
Knock-on advantage on the steal.
We have an advantage here.
2 off.
A scrum advantage just for a little knock there. And we're going to come back. That'll be a scrum for San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, after a really thrilling, exciting opening 15 minutes, the game has sort of descended a little bit here. Lots of errors, lots of sloppy plays, some poor decisions, some poor inaccurate kicking. So with 10 minutes to go before the half, one of these teams has got to get out of this, shake it off, and start to exert their dominance again.
Yeah, it's been a bit messy. We really haven't seen, a lot of players stand out so far. A little back and forth. We had a couple of good tries there on breaks early on, but 10 minutes to go in this half, it's starting to settle down a bit. The referee having a conversation here.
100%. Let's go.
With the front row of New York. Trying to make sure everyone stays straight in there. These forwards love it, but the fans don't so much want to sit here and watch scrum after scrum.
Right, let's go.
It's the scourge of the modern game, the scrum reset. Obviously, the authorities, the players, the referees, everyone's aware of it. Scrum's about having a good contest, but it has to be a fair contest. And, front row forwards aren't necessarily known for following all the rules, so that's why we have referees to help them out.
Wouldn't know what you were talking about.
Set.
We're back here, and Augsburger gets us going with the San Diego Legion. And that one goes down again, as we said, and we're just going to slow down. Referee is going to get tired of this. He's going to keep looking for which players are causing these problems. But as you said earlier, Steve, we've got two really powerhouse front rows here.
Yes, indeed. As you said before, we've got Paddy Ryan on both tight heads, one Australian, one Irish. We've talked about the hookers already. But it's a sort of, sub-unit, a battle within the battle. Front row is always key. This one today, no less so.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Stay straight.
It's going down again. This time a penalty
Far
for
side collapse,
losing his
tight
feet
head as well.
against
Feet
Rochford
too
there
far.
for New York.
Feet too far back, you've overextended.
This time it's the front row of New York that goes down, and the referees finally had enough. Good work there from Patty Ryan on the San Diego side to make that happen. Pifoletti, Muir, the other front row players, certainly put a lot of pressure on this Rugby United New York team, and Peterson is going to push another one towards the corner for a line out inside the 22 for the Legion.
Yeah, well, the Australian Paddy Ryan, I mean, he's no slouch, right? I mean, over 100 caps for the Waratahs and Super Rugby.
On your side?
Very, very experienced player.
Who said overextended?
Taking a look at it here, you see Rochford on your close side here, and he just hits. The pressure coming in there from big Paddy Ryan. He goes down, and sometimes it seems like the strongest man wins in these things. Penalty against New York.
Or the loudest. Is it the squeaky
wheel?
Oil, right?
They go up to Short there. And Short brings the ball down. They're going to try to drive this a little bit, but good pressure so far from New York. The forwards are going to have to regather, and they have done as they start to move forward. Referee making sure everybody's coming in from their own side there. Augsburger at the back like a jockey, just marching the horses in.
One out.
It's a mess, but taken away, and they're going to have to go to the drive is San Diego. We'll see what they decide to do next. Augsburger hunting for that one. Going for the pick and goes near the corner here is San Diego. They're going to want to get something set up, not making too much room on that one. They're going to go for another quick drive off the side here as they're content to keep it tight. They think they have the strength of this New York team. Haven't made the line on that one. They're going to try to will themselves across. Here's that man Short, puts a little pass up. That doesn't result in the numbers that they want. They're going to move a little bit wider this time, it looks. As they have done. And he's hit Pifoletti. Forward is taking that one in. He's got a couple of numbers here.
No, you triggered.
A little miscue there from San Diego. Don't get what they want, but they've got a number of people together heading in under the sticks. Referee works his way around and try awarded. Great tight work there by the San Diego forwards, and they've made it just a 2-point gap.
So yeah, some relentless pressure there from San Diego. You know, this goal line stance, this is where the men are separated from the boys. It's just putting your body on the line again and again and again. And it takes brave defense and relentless attack.
A try is awarded there. We're going to take another look at it as Augsburger just pops a quick one up here, and a group of bodies comes together, but they're awarding this one to Patty Ryan. Australian Patty Ryan playing in San Diego gets the try off some good help from his fellow forwards there, and Peterson, pretty straight shot.
So there we go, all tied up, 12-12 after 33 minutes, and just a little aftermath to that try being awarded. There was some colourful language and some differences of opinions exchanged.
There will be.
You can see this game getting a little bit chippy now. These two teams don't seem to like each other particularly much.
There's a lot right on here, and they got some pretty good emotion, some great players down there. But this is a little close as we expected. First couple of early scores there from New York. Looked like things might go a different way, but San Diego really pulling it together late in this half as we have just over 5 minutes to go. New York able to take down their last kickoff. They have taken down this one again, and Rugby United New York on the move, doing great on these restarts. That must be an area they're targeting. Comes out the back, does Dylan Fawcett, but Matina or O'Keefe. Ball moved quick towards the side there from New York, but it's been knocked down. We have a penalty advantage here for intentional knockdown. And we're going to come back for New York. They're going to be able to push this one downfield. I'm sure they're going to go for the 5-pointer here in the try. As Matt Houston has made his way on the field, Ross Deacon, the all-rounder at number 8, has had to go off. But Matt Houston, Charlotte-born player, certainly active around the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it gets very subjective there from the referees. I mean, we've had 2 deliberate knock-ons. One got a yellow, one didn't. They look pretty similar to me.
At the very least, New York will have the opportunity here, looking for a 5-pointer. Dylan Fawcett with Life University in Atlanta. Coming over from Ireland, where he played Blackrock. Butcher, as they call him, and he's at the tail of this line out safely with ball in hand.
Out.
They've got a little room to make up here. Do New York. Matt Houston working that ball into his hands at the back there, wearing number 20 just into the game. They'll certainly want to make an effort here. And there, that mass of bodies is just finding their way through. There's a big number 8, Manihara comes through. I think he's penalized. We have a penalty advantage here for New York, so they get a free play here as the ball comes out to O'Keefe. O'Keefe gets it back to Marsh. Marsh to Foden. Foden gets it to Seymour Smith. Can he get the room? Can he make it? He cuts through one. He's surrounded by 5 defenders as Seymour Smith gets the ball to the ground, and they can come back across. They're still on the free play as the Butcher, Dylan Fawcett, drives his way towards the line. They've got some runners. A little inside pass comes in there. Looks like O'Keefe, he has broken a number of tackles this week. Certainly an effective player in the centers here. Ball comes up now to big Nate Brakely. Nate Brakely. A lot of rugby history there, and a little through the legs pass from John Quill. Didn't expect to see that, but we're going to come back for the penalty as nothing happens here. Penalty for New York. Connor Wallace-Sims hasn't thought about taking it quick, but they're going to bring that back.
Yeah, ball went down to the right. Seymour Smith, you say, having a very, very promising game today. He's always going to beat one man. As you said, a little isolated, surrounded 5 defenders. Came back inside. O'Keefe ran a great line, went out to the left, and unfortunately, unforced error.
And there you saw John Quill putting the ball through the legs, a little unexpected from a very physical forward there. If that had gone ahead and they had scored a try, that would have been his highlight reel for centuries to come. But a little sloppy pass back there from Cahal Marsh. Ben Foden just knocks it on. But we're going to come back for that penalty for New York. As James Denise being attended to.
Yeah, you're right, John Quill. That would have been the icing on the cake, right? for a baker such as he.
You see the team just gathering up here as we're, winding down in this first half. I'm sure we'll talk about it at halftime. There's going to be some interesting coaching messages to come out here. I'm sure both staffs would have wanted something much different. Expecting a little more out of their teams. Denise seems to be up and ready to go. We'll see what New York decide to do with this.
Let's go. Let's go. Knocks it.
Yeah, just having some sort of second thoughts, or maybe some making some adjustments here in New York. They've got this line out going in. Perhaps they feel they've been rumbled. They want to switch things up. Let's see where it ends up this time. Typically, they've gone to the back.
Time's on.
Trying to set them all from there. Yet more consultation between Brakely, who's really the smartest man on the field, actually. Calls most of the New York lineouts.
He is the brains of this operation when it comes to the forward, certainly.
In the line before we go.
They have their line set. Fawcett ball in hand.
Advantage, jumping across.
We have a player jumping across there, so we have a quick advantage here. So they will get another penalty should they need it, New York.
Penalty advantage.
They've got some forwards to the back here.
Jumping across the line out.
Explain that. If it comes back to the penalty.
Off E6!
Denise has scored a number of times from about this distance out this season. One of the top try scorers for this team. But he can't make it that time. Petrie moves it out to the backs. We'll see if they can get the room through here in a powerful run out wide. Runners either way. Some space on the left-hand side of the field. Still ball in hand is New York. They're a little bit tight and gathered here, not too spread across the field. I think their intention is to play it close, and they will continue to do so. Now they want to get across this line and go into the shed, certainly with some extra points.
Yeah, still advantage.
You can be the man for this team. You have Dylan Fawcett out there. Still have advantage. You heard the referee there. So they still have a replay, and they're going to go up around the back there as O'Keefe moves it out by Foden, and now it's in Connor Wallace-Sims' hands, but they're going to come back now for this penalty.
Time's off.
And we're going to take time off here.
Time's off. Please.
The referee may want to have a bit of a discussion.
I actually think it might be a card here.
We will see. We're going to listen to referee Williams, see what he has to say.
We've just had 2 more offences in the line-out, the last 2 setups. Yep. We just need more discipline in that area. Both teams beg up a bit.
Is it coming from the side?
Yeah, so the first one obviously swimming up the side. Okay. The second one was jumping across, affecting the setup. Okay, thank you.
Referee Williams did a good job of explaining these penalties to these teams, telling what he does want and what he doesn't
the
want.
marks here.
Foden
Yeah, that's good.
Puts one in a touch. And we'll have another shot at it here for New York from the line as Fawcett gathers that ball.
Yeah, no need to panic here, right? It's been successful the course of the season. Stick to your guns, execute it, trust your gut, and go again.
The ball goes up into the middle of the line out there, down and Fawcett.
Don't change, out.
They drive their way forward. Player coming around there, nearly penalized again. We have another penalty here. This will be a card for sure. As the ball goes down from Fawcett there. Petrie spots a little gap there, and Mike Petrie gets himself across the try line. Intelligent play from an intelligent man. Players are happy, and they finally get their 5 points.
Yeah, that's just reward for the pressure, right? They've been up there 5 minutes. They've extracted 2, 3, 4 penalties. They had to get something out of it just before the half, and that's ideal timing for Rugby United New York. Mike Petrie, the veteran, just spotted the gap. That's probably his favorite distance these days, 3 yards. Doesn't really need to go 50 or 60 anymore.
And we'll just take another look here as Petrie was looking out wide at first, but he saw a player just split aside there, and that was just wide open for him. Great spot there, but defensively for San Diego, that should have been covered.
That should have been covered. Yeah, my granny could have scored that one.
Your granny was a great player. Let's not put her down. So as we see Matina taking over the kicking duties here instead of Marsh. And that kick is good as New York extends their lead to 19. And that is a whistle for the end of the first half, where it is New York 19, San Diego 12 here at MCU Park. As I sorted that out just a bit better as the half went on. And we're going to go down to Phaedra Knight on the sideline.
Yes, fellas, I'm here with Luke Hume, who's not playing today. Luke, you guys started out really powerful, quick 12 points on the board, and then things just sort of plateaued. What's it going to take coming out in the second half for this team to really pull away?
Yeah, big thing is I think the boys need to use the wind a little bit more. That's pretty important. Obviously, we're going to have the wind with the second half. Also, we're a little bit loose around the ruck. As you saw at the start of the game, we were playing quite expansive and quite wide, and we had good results. And they just got a little bit sloppy. So if we can keep it tight around our ruck, we won't let Nate Osberg, obviously a very good attacking player for them, go through the middle of the ruck. I think we'll come away with the points.
All right, well, best of luck in the second half. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Phaedra. We're going to step aside for a moment, and we'll be right back with halftime stories and highlights right after this. It's halftime at MCU Park. We're going to take just a moment to talk about Rugby United's community outreach efforts. Spearheaded by team owner James Kennelly and GM James English, the team has been delighting fans across the 5 boroughs. They were out in Hoboken and PS 31, meeting some rugby players and some young fans, bringing the game out to the community that they are making themselves a part of. They're also at Solace House, a mental health awareness group. A big supporter of mental health awareness is this Rugby United team. It's going to be one of their key issues going forward, near and dear to the heart of players, coaches, and owners of the team. It's something that they're going to support. They are out in the community, and we hope you see them. We'll take another break and come back with first half highlights and analysis right after this. Who got that one?
McDonald. Alex McDonald.
This one was Toto Satu, right?
Yep.
One more from him. It happened all over the place, but it just typically happens a lot. Here we go. Welcome back to New York, where Rugby United New York leads at San Diego 19-12. What a cracker of a first half. Let's take a look at some of the first half action.
Yeah, first try here for New York was a close quarter one. It's Alex McDonald in today for Trevor Cassidy from the Citadel, and UCD just getting over from 2 yards out.
Not too long afterwards, a big break by Ben Foden as he gets past a couple of runners. Puts a little pass in here to the youngsters, Samu Smith. Samu Smith has the wherewithal to cut inside, get that ball in one hand, and set up James Denise, always the man on the spot, for another try in his major rugby season.
This was came out of a New York mistake here. Paddy Ryan, a prop, beats the winger, Toto Vasau. He beats one man to dot down spectacular fashion.
Not to be outdone by the San Diego backs. Their forwards kept it tight for several phases. with the Australian and San Diego Paddy Ryan piling over for a try of his own.
The final score of the half after some New York pressure, Mike Petrie showing his guile, showing his experience going in from close range.
Those are your tries from the first half. We're expecting to see more in the second half. Next Saturday, April 20th at 7:30, make sure you're tuning in as CBS Sports Network is going to be showing Rugby United New York versus the Utah Warriors. Utah having a bit of a tough season, going to be looking to really bring it against New York. It should be an exciting one. So with action like that in the first half, buckle in for the second as there's everything to play for. We'll bring you all the action right after this. Couldn't see we were on the field, you couldn't see the field at the beginning of the game. Yeah, oh yeah. We thought we weren't going to be able to see the field from here. We didn't know what to do. Got it. It's time for second half action here at MCU Park, Brooklyn, New York City, where Rugby United is up 19-10 over the San Diego Legion. Still a lot to 19-12, excuse me, still a lot to play for. This is John Broker with two-time USA Rugby Coach of the Year, Steve Lewis. As you see San Diego in white getting ready to kick off this ball. Steve, this is going to be a great second half.
Yep, all to play for, finally poised, right? Just one score in it. As I said before, explosive first quarter. Got bogged down a little bit, got war of attrition, some good work done in the trenches. But New York came out of it with a 7-point lead. But that is not insurmountable.
Peterson ready to kick off here. Referee Williams to get us going again. Logan Williams has controlled this match well so far. And it's a kick inside the 22 over the head of Houston to get us started. Foden launches one downfield into the arms of Mikey Teo. Mikey Teo is dangerous, but he offloads there to big Saul Mooching. Haven't seen a lot of Saul Mooching ball in hand so far this game. He is a powerful man. The Hawaii native Augsburger to Peterson. Peterson puts one up in the air. Looks like that's what they're going to want to test. But Foden, no problem. Taking in the touch there. And San Diego gets us going quickly. Unless the referee brings back, has not, and Duplessis takes that one in. Duplessis, a key member of the San Diego teams we've been talking about. Ball is back out to Peterson. Peterson pumps one and then fakes it around, and Mikey Teo doesn't get quite the clean ball that he would have wanted. And right at midfield, San Diego on an early attack in the second half. They're going to want to lay down a challenge right here. They're trying to hold some players up. They're going to come back for a penalty there against San Diego for coming in from the side. It looks like against Lou Stanfield. Lou Stanfield, Sacramento native, played at the vaunted Jesuit High School and Cal Berkeley programs when he was in college. Great servant to USA Rugby, penalized right there. And Mikey Teo there, just held up very well by Matt Houston, and there is the brawler, John Quill. He's not going to let him go. His arms wrenched around there. The player eventually came in from the side. He penalizes it, and New York pushes it down to the corner. They have no intention of going for the post a lot this game. They want to give these fans their money's worth.
Surprise, surprise. What are we looking at? A rolling ball. It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Certainly isn't. This is an attacking weapon that's worked for them. One of the finer points of the game sometimes. As they go to the tail the line out. Great take there at the back, and they work their way around, and Fawcett once again in his favorite place back there with Quill. Quill trying to go to the ball. Houston now at the back with a hold of it. Petrie looking either way, but they'd rather just barrel this one over if they can, and the power is coming. Player eventually taken to the ground there. Referee says legally, so everything's good to go. And it's been pushed forward in there. A mistake from New York. Just inside the 5-meter line of San Diego. It's going to be a scrum, San Diego. Great defensive pressure. Let's take a look at the reserves. First for New York.
Yeah, New York reserves here. You have Kyle Sumption as an Army West Point assistant coach. In my mind, a very underrated player. Also Harry Bennett, who's made a comeback from a couple of serious injuries, and he also shows a lot of skill when he gets on the field.
The Legion have a lot of experience in these reserves. With Pifoletti has played with our national team. You have Nick Boyer, who's played 7s and 15s for our national team, as well as Ty Inosa, a very explosive player who can come in and cover a lot of the back line there. They are going to be an important factor in the second half as players start to get tired, as they look to inject some new life in the game. San Diego, Augsburger to put this one in. They are at their 5-meter line. They've had a bit of ascendancy in these scrums in the first half. We'll see how the second half goes. If Keith Lensing made any changes, that one goes down, but the referee is going to ask Augsburger to play. And Peterson chips one out into the hands. I believe he gathered that himself. Has done. Just a little chip over the back line, made some room, and now they're on the attack as the ball goes to Audsley. Audsley, quick pass out there. Connor Kearns in the game for this San Diego team, an early substitution in the second half. The ball comes back, and Augsburger again, they're still inside their own half, but on the run. Peterson looking for a runner. Peterson finds Manihera, a Maori All Black player, number 8. Peterson again gets a hold of the ball, works that ball out to the left.
They just seem to be playing with a little more urgency, a little more intent this half, moving the ball around. I mean, that exit play from Peterson, chipping on your own 5-yard line, that is audacious, to say the least. But he got away with it, recovered, and they're going well.
And they made a little mistake there, but they had gathered a penalty from New York, as New York was offsides earlier, so they're going to have a penalty.
And back to the point about Peterson, right? He was active there 4 or 5 different ways. When he's in the game, San Diego are in the game. When he's playing well, they perform.
Certainly brings the experience, Duplessis. Peterson and Duplessis in the fly half and inside center spots there. Be a lineup from Muir. Muir played some pro rugby in Japan, as well as playing here in New York. At one point, a quick lineup comes down, and they are on the run. They get the ball, a little miscue there. Have to take it into contact, but they're still on the run as big Patty Ryan gets hauled down by the shoelaces from Cahal Marsh. They have some runners if they're looking for him. They try to move that out wide to Teo. They've gotten it to him. He gets through a half gap but is hauled down. Big Lou Stanfill, never shy about going into contact, recycles it well. They move the ball back out there to Piffoletti. Muir is over him. Muir comes into the distributor position. Little tip from Patty Ryan onto Salm Wuching. Turned over here by New York. Great work on the ground. Once they find a loose spot there, Petrie moves it back to Foden. Foden launches one downfield. Scrambling back on it is San Diego. It's going to sit up for Connor Kearns. Connor Kearns pushes it downfield for Petrie to run back to. It's not going to find touch. Petrie has a couple of runners coming onto him, switches around there, and off they go. Connor Wallace-Sims puts one back downfield. Peterson waits just inside his 22. This time he's going to clear his lines. It'll be a line out here for New York after a little aerial volleyball from these two teams.
Aerial volleyball, aerial ping pong. Take your pick, John.
We can certainly take our pick, but that's kicking back and forth, trying to see who's going to make the ultimate decision to slow things down, and it's San Diego.
Yeah, and a couple of points there when it comes to that. It can be the accuracy of the kick, and it can also be the effectiveness of the kick chase, right? You can put up a good kick. If no one's after it, it's not a good kick.
The abrasive Butcher puts one up, but that not a very good line-out throw there. He'll be upset with himself. San Diego comes down with it. Augsburger has to go in. Ball is not out to the referee, so they bring that back. Piffoletti gets through. He's a big fella. Piffoletti, 6 foot, 264. San Diego on the move right in front of the post, 20 meters out. Turned over again by New York. They're doing great work in the contact area. Mikey Teo gets one right at midfield. Goes off to his left. First step, second step. Gets around one, gets around two. Finally hauled to the ground. York picks up and just makes a little more yardage there. New York is wrenched over that ball but can't take it away. Now they'll have to reset as the New York defense gets themselves in position. They're looking for a couple of big boys to run that through, and Salm Wuching, University of Washington football player, crossed over to rugby. Augsburger again moves it out there. This time they try to get it back. Peterson, ball bounces all over the place. New York has it. That is a mess right there. Denise has to go in and try to clean it up. We're going to see who comes down with this, but we'll go back to the original knock on there from San Diego. It'll be a scrum just outside the 22 for Rugby United.
Yeah, a bit of a dog's breakfast there, as far as all concerned. Anyone too happy with that one. But again, San Diego coaches, right? Rob Hoadley, the Englishman, he's assisted by Zach Test, of course, American Sevens superstar, and Scott Murray, capped Scottish international. Those guys will have been happy with the way or the attitude of the San Diego team in this first 4 or 5 minutes. They've certainly come out looking like they want to play.
See Piffoletti with a big run here. He is not easy to pull down, but eventually McDonald gets in there. And you see O'Keefe come down with it, but the messy play here, knock on, coming back, throwing that one over. Should have just set the on the ground. Coaches won't be thrilled with the over anxious moments that both of these teams had. We're going to come back for the scrum to New York.
It's one of the features, of the sport, right? Rugby, the global game. So not only is our different nationalities represented on the field, but also in coaching staffs. And in many ways, actually, most coaching staffs are probably overrepresented with foreign coaches.
Mike Tolkien, one of the few American head coaches, if not the only American head coach in this league. Doing very well with his team. He brings great experience.
Yeah, there's some other coaches, Nate Osborne is Australian, but he's been invested in American rugby for some time. He's been here a while, head coach in New Orleans. Justin Fitzpatrick has also been here 5-6 years
Certainly
now.
Has. I should have said American born. Certainly a lot of contributors to the American game, as it's going to be a New York scrum this time. Petrie gets the ball in. Houston at number 8. Stable that time from New York. Marsh launches one downfield. Teo, the only player back for San Diego. He's trying to decide what to do. He moves it across to Connor Kearns. He's got 3 defenders coming onto him. Matt Houston eventually brings him to the ground. He is holding the ball up. A referee says it's okay as the ball comes down to Duplessis. Duplessis barrels across the 50-meter line, and San Diego with a bit of a head of steam here again as the ball comes out there to Devin Short, the U20 for the United States in the 8th grade realm. But a knock on there from San Diego, and it's their own undoing again. Ball in hand, made a mistake. New York's going to capitalize and be able to take the scrum and push it back downfield. And we're going to send it down to Phaedra.
Hi, fellas. Caught up with Coach Tiff Fahey for New York just after halftime. The discussion at halftime, nevertheless, was for New York to tighten up this interior defense, especially around the ruck, and we can see that happening very much so in the second half. And then on attack, they want to produce cleaner balls so that they can play wider, faster.
Thanks, Phaedra. Sage advice there from Tiff Fahey, coach for New York. And that would have been a great message. We take a look at that knock on there. Ball just comes into contact. Nate Brickley had a hold of him. Knock from San Diego. Scrum here for New York, just outside their 22. Territory-wise, they're a bit far. What they decide to do is a great scrum comes in. They're going to have to dig this out, New York, or they're going to lose another one, but they've got the penalty against them. Excellent work there by that front row from San Diego. They try to wind John Quill up there. Saw him wooching. Give him a little pat on the head to Quill, trying to get him fired up, but Quill wisely doesn't react with a penalty.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a pivotal moment, but this is a very, very important moment. San Diego going forward there, getting a penalty on New York's put in. Once again, they put it to the corner, but sometimes it can be the psychological benefit you get from a scrum, not just the points, right? It's the one part of the game where you're mano a mano, you're head to head, face to face, and when you get that small mini victory, it resonates.
He's going to see if it resonates right here as they go into the line out. Muir to put this one in. He's been pretty spot on all day. See Stanfield towards the front. Turns around and becomes a lifter. And they're going to try to drive us in. Ball is back. Muir's hands. Can they drive this one in? A little bit of power now coming through from New York as they're holding this one well. This is tough. Muir just slides over. We've got an advantage here against New York. So they're going to get another shot, San Diego, one way or another. However, the referee's going to come out and award a penalty try for pulling that down. He is in front of the post. He has awarded it. And that's 7 points straight away. No kick needed to San Diego. 19 all here at MCU Park. And just New York there not doing themselves any favors.
Very, very difficult to defend, though. You know, a well executed, good throw, good setup. Very difficult to defend a rolling maul from that distance. Both sides have proven that now. Now we have a tied game, 19-19. Once again, penalty try, no card. He's been very reluctant to go to his pocket, as Mr. Williams. But that may change. 25 minutes to go, and the errors are creeping up.
A change here for the Legion. They put in Nathan Sylvia, a San Diego native, in the front row. Fakahosi Pifoletti to come out of the game. It's going to be Kahal Marsh. They don't do a conversion kick. They just award the straight 7 points after a penalty try. And Marsh is going to get us going. Great on the restarts of New York men, but this one comes down San Diego way. And a bit of a mess of a ball there. There's been a lot of messy work in these tight areas. Another knock-on from San Diego, going to be a scrum for New York. They're going to want to, A, settle this scrum down and get that psychological battle back, and B, take a good platform from this. Here you see the players just coming in. It looks like John Quill there. A couple other players just drag the whole thing to the ground, which you cannot do.
Yeah, Dean Muir on the ball in hand, and I think you're right. John Quill pulling it down. He's probably the one who got pinged there.
So all tied up. Lots to play for. Just under 55 minutes gone in this contest. It's going to be a scrum here from New York. They're going to want to work some magic. They certainly have the weapons to do so. And they get a free kick for early engage, and the ball comes out the back. Samu Smith has a hold of it. Connor Wallace-Sims, he's one-on-one with Mikey Teo. Now he's 1-on-3 as the San Diego defense comes across. Petrie picks it up, and he's going to come back across the field. San Diego, we need to get New York, and need to get to the ground here. Great defensive work by San Diego, but they have done. Rochford comes up with it. Dylan Fawcett now. Dylan Fawcett steps inside. Cannot find a complete gap. Able to return it. Cahal Marsh has some runners. He moves it back around, and it's Matina. Matina taking a long run around. Let's see if his support can get to him there. Have done. Again, recycled ball coming back. New York's going to want to play smart here. Make sure they can work this through the phases. They're a little disorganized. But they'll be okay once they get going, I'm sure. Connor Wallace-Sims gets to Matina. Matina close to a tip tackle there, taken up in the air, but it's okay. And they get across the 22. They've got some runners out to the left if they can move it. Good job there by San Diego to slow that one down so they can get reset as big Alex McDonald, the 25-year-old, takes it in. Ball comes to Foden. Foden drops that one forward, and an uncharacteristic mistake from Ben Foden, this time by New York. It's going to be a scrum for San Diego.
Yeah, well, I think the physicality in this game has ramped up a couple of notches there in the last 2 minutes. That was a great defensive stand by the Legion and putting in big hits. New York running hard, and San Diego repulsing them.
See Petrie just moving it out there, and Foden just slips out of the hands. I think he was thinking about what was going to happen next instead of what was happening right there.
Is repulsing a word?
Repulsing is a word, yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yep. Repelling.
Repelling.
Repulsing. Second thoughts after I said it.
They seem pretty similar. The subs have come rolling in. It's been Anthony Perry and Chris Sullivan coming in the front row for New York. They're going to try to shore this up here against the San Diego team. Augsburger gets that one in, and a stable scrum that time. And the ball comes out to Duplessis. Duplessis finds Peterson around the back. He finds Teo. They have a little room to run. Teo offhands one there to Connor Kearns. Connor Kearns gets it to the boot. Is it going to sit up for him? Foden going back on him. We'll see what happens. Try awarded. Great individual work there by Connor Kearns after a great run by Mikey Teo. Fortunes are changing here at MCU Park in New York as San Diego touchdown, another 5-pointer. Bring it to 24-19, kick to come.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, it was there's nothing dramatic there. Mikey Teo went on the outside, held off a couple of players, fed Kearns. He just dinked the ball at the correct time and did very well to pick that up left-handed one hand, get over the line.
Mikey Teo, when he gets the ball, he just draws defenders because you never know what he's going to do, and opens up that outside for Kearns. Just wonderfully done there by Mikey Teo. And Joe Peterson try to extend the lead to 7 here. Peterson lines it up. Good look at the angle that Peterson has to go with there, and he steps forward, hangs one up into the air, and it bounces off the post. We're at a 5-point lead here as we have a change in the score. San Diego ahead at 24-19 over the hometown Rugby United New York, but we've seen New York pull it out late in the game before the season.
That they have. I mean, no shortage of character. Again, 20 minutes to go here.
See Peterson there, hangs one up. Finds a 2-inch wide orange post there, pretty impressive. We'll take another quick break and be back with what is sure to be a high-flying finish to this great game.
Circle and the Upper East Side is proud to be the official business partner of Rugby United New York. Visit us at EVF.
Is it? Yeah, we just 100%.
Get set for these last 20 minutes. It is 24-19, the visiting San Diego Legion over the hometown Rugby United New York. It's going to be a high-flying finish to this game. Cathal Marsh set to get us underway here after the last try by San Diego. And New York, a bit of work ahead of them. Just a converted try would do it. Referee Williams waiting for word to get going here, and we have done. The Irishman puts one up, knocks the ball back. Referee's okay with it. Oh, he's going to come back for the whistle there. Knock on by New York. It's going to be a scrum for San Diego. I thought he didn't see that for a second. Steve, interesting note here. You know, both these teams are pretty equal in a lot of statistics throughout everything that they do, really. But New York has tended to score more in the last 20 minutes than have done other teams in the league and San Diego. So we're going to see if that's a factor in these last 20.
Mike Tolkien will be hoping so.
I'm sure he will, as will all the fans here at MCU.
Okay, that's the last time I'm going to ask you to stop pushing players, okay?
Paddy Ryan gets a little talking to.
Let's
go.
go.
One of the reserve props there from...
Yeah, two props come on. Anthony Parry played New York Athletic Club locally, also played with the Ohio Aviators in pro rugby, and on the other side, you have the funniest man in American rugby, Chris Sullivan of Life University, now a chiropractor in Monmouth, New Jersey.
Set.
Playing with this New York team. Referee's going to bring this up and just slow us down a little bit here. Give me a scrum again for San Diego. Both these teams really need some points here. San Diego want to extend their lead. 5 is not enough. New York can certainly come back. We'll see where they go with this.
Okay, let's go.
Shot at the crops on this side. See all this pressure coming through.
Bind. Set. Hold.
Augsburger gets us started again. Ball seems to be a little safe this time. We have an advantage here. We're going to come back to a penalty against New York. Players collapsing it there from the New York front row. Good work by the front row of San Diego one more time, and they're putting some serious pressure on these reserve props. Peterson steps up, launches one downfield, finds touch. It's going to be an attacking line out since they kicked it out for San Diego just at the 40-meter line of New York. We'll see where they decide to go with this one. It's a bit far out for that driving ball unless they just want to draw on some bodies.
It's the timing of, you know, these substitutions, typically 60th minute mark. It's like clockwork, right? Two props come on. Really, it gets more subjective than that. Coaches know when one player can go a full game or one player is only good for 50 minutes. He may be having a particularly torrid day. I mean, there are different things come into it. But usually, it is the 60-minute mark we see the changes.
And capped U.S. Eagle Pifoletti, Capelli Pifoletti has come in for Dean Muir at hooker. He will be a welcome addition. He brings a lot of energy to this San Diego team. As that last lineout was a bit of a mess from San Diego. They've had a couple of miscues. So New York is going to get the ball at their own 40. They've decided to take a lineout instead of a scrum. Shows you that power. They come up no problem to Quill. Quill gives it to Marsh. Marsh goes out the back. They're looking for some runners. O'Keefe can't quite find it that time. Smith shuffles it out to Connor Wallace-Sims. Connor Wallace-Sims near his own touchline.
Stay here.
Does a good job to keep it in. Petrie moves it on to his waiting forwards. You see Brakely in there to clean it up. Some of the players coming in. Petrie looking for the box kick here. Put some pressure on the other team. And that one has gone straight out from Mike Petrie. Little trouble finding the correct line to kick that on. It's going to come back. It's going to be a line out here just outside the 22 for San Diego. Another little mistake in this game.
Yeah, that's when these small moments start to add up, right? You know, scrum infraction here. I missed box kick there. Little unforced errors. Teams can grow in confidence and can also lose confidence.
Certainly can, and we'll see which one happens here. As Pifoletti steps up. His first throw, not one for the ages last time, as John Quill seems to be coming off the field for Kyle Sumption.
It's on the chest. That's on the chest.
And that one taken away by New York.
Use it.
Mike Petrie, another box kick. They're trying to push Teo around. This time he makes sure of it. It rolls inside the 22. It rolls just about 10 meters out. Teo looked like he might have stepped and touched there, but hauled down by Connor Wallace-Sims. Connor Wallace-Sims works his way back around. Under pressure is San Diego inside their own 22. And have to put in a little forward run here. That was to Sylvia, the new addition to the game. He wants to get some room. He gets it back to Peterson. Peterson under some pressure, has to step and kicks the ball directly to Nate Brakely. Great work by Mike Petrie. Great work by Nate Brakely. Incredible defensive pressure from New York. And a blocked kick is going to result here in a line out just about 5 meters out. We have a player down getting attended to.
Yeah, but they all stemmed actually from good kick chase, right? So Mike Petrie put in his second box kick. Still a bit of a windy duck as a kick, but Connor Wallace-Sims made a great chase, got up, pressured Mikey Teo, kept the ball down in that San Diego half, and they were unable to clear. So we are where we are.
Pressure on is James Denise, the New Jersey native, getting looked at here. You see Petrie coming in, forces him to step, and Brakely, he is not a short man at 6'5". The Marblehead, Massachusetts born second row for this New York team gets his hands up there. It's going to be a line out here for San Diego as a ref asking these teams to play on. Well, now he stopped it. James Denise getting attended to here. I thought they were just going to go play. That would have been a little...
Yeah, typically the yardstick is if front row player or it's close to the actual play that's about to happen, or perhaps if there's a serious head injury or a serious looking injury.
He was pretty close there, just a few feet away. But James Denise, one of the long-time New York area player from Hawthorne, New Jersey. He is certainly a nuisance for these other teams, kind of Mr. Everywhere. Line out for San Diego, Pifoletti to put it in. Close to their own line there.
Wait there, please. There's a nice big gap to start.
Field. Referee's going to slow it down as he didn't get the spacing he wanted from the two teams.
Open the gap, please.
We're going to go again. The referee has asked New York to just take a little step there, give San Diego their room.
Hey there.
We're going to check in right now with Phaedra Knights.
Fellas, I had an opportunity to catch up with Mike Petrie a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about all the fun he's having coming back out of retirement into competitive rugby. Rumor has it that he may be putting his hand up for a World Cup appearance. There's no doubt that Gary Gold has him on his mind after seeing him perform this season. Back up to you.
Thanks, Phaedra. He's certainly been a standout player and maybe catching the eye of the World Cup squad. Another thing we were talking about just a little bit, we can talk about a bit more, is a lot of these players are playing for a place in the World Cup squad in Japan in September, October. A big factor. They want to show themselves out for Gary Gold and his coaching team. So these games can be somewhat of an audition. Gets a good look at them. As the kick from San Diego there didn't make too much distance. Now it's going to be attacking lineout for New York at the 22 of the Legion. And they go to the tail of the lineout, but stolen away. Great work by San Diego. Not what they wanted. Jasa Vera Malua, the Fijian, just gets right inside the 22. Augsburger looking around to see what he's got. He's going to go back to Peterson. Peterson to the boot. This time he's got the room. Does not find touch, and Connor Wallace-Sims moves to Ben Foden. Foden comes back in that same direction looking for a runner. He's held up by Short and Connor Kearns. They're going to recycle this one as the ball comes like a Hall Marsh, and he puts it into one of his waiting forwards in the middle of the field. Great tackle there coming in from the Legion. They are certainly putting in the hits. They're able to rework this one. Foden again, ball in hand. Dylan Fawcett gets the ball to Connor Wallace-Sims again. They're just inside San Diego half of the field. Little tip pass to Houston, and he is swallowed up by white jerseys. Great defense from San Diego coming through. Missed ball on the back there. O'Keefe has to regather. A couple of miscues in that back line today. Not as smooth as they would like, I'm sure. The ball comes back, and losing ground at the moment is New York. They'll have to rethink their tactics here.
Wing is good.
As they go back to what they know and do well. As that ball goes up, a couple of miscues there from San Diego. Players crashing into one another. We're going to come back for that knock on there. Not well called, and it's going to be a scrum here for New York.
Yeah, a little confusion. Two San Diego players both going for the same ball. Actually might have dinged up their key playmaker here.
This could be trouble. Joe Peterson being attended to. We'll hope he's okay.
Time's off.
Everybody seems to be right. We're going to come for the scrum for New York. The first thing you're going to need to do is win this one comfortably and then work from there.
Go. Right, time's back on, lads. Let's go.
Take a look. It's the box kick from Petrie. Puts it high up there, and it should have been it should have been Peterson coming onto it that got that ball. But a little collision. Ball comes back New York way after the knock on.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Houston at the back there. They're going to work this one out quickly. They do. Houston gets a hold of it, and he's on the run. Marsh, he's going to find Matina in the midfield. Matina finds Ben Foden. Ben Foden puts one for Samu Smith to run onto. It rolls in a touch before he can get there inside the 22, but a good little territory game, and they can put pressure on this line out.
Okay, we're done.
Line out coming here for San Diego. They're going to get this one clean. They've done well in the lineouts in the second half.
Looks a 5+ to me. 5 man.
Take it down in the middle of the line out there. Try to drive this one, draw on some defenders, put a little pressure. So they'd love to draw another penalty. New York's going to play smart. They move this one away quickly. And they are on the move. San Diego now outside of their 22. Augsburger can only pop a little one up there to Wuching. Wuching not going to make much ground there. As he looks for Peterson. Peterson goes to the boot again, pushes it downfield for Teo to run onto. Teo kicks that one forward, and Teo, always dangerous no matter where he is. Ben Foden takes it and has to step in a touch, and well done there as Teo decides to go quick, and he's gotten it to Dylan Audsley. Dylan Audsley takes it to the ground. Scrambling defense there from New York. Great work there as the ball moves back out to Teo. He is dangerous all the time. Gavin Demore Morrison entered the game and takes him down right there. As the ball gets moved up to San Diego, and San Diego certainly has the ascendancy at the moment. When they want to get going, long pass to Peterson. They've moved it out into the centers there. Off they go. They try to get it wide. Doesn't go to hand. Certain overload there. Would have been a try. Almost guaranteed for San Diego. It'll be a good line out here for Rugby United New York.
Yep, that was a clear-cut opportunity there. 3-on-1. San Diego coaches in front of us here. Hands in the air. I can't believe how they didn't finish that one off.
10 minutes to go. Week 1 of Major League Rugby. New York went to San Diego and pulled it out on the road. They've yet to lose at home. San Diego looking to change that. These next 10 minutes will be telling. New York needed a converted try to get ahead here. And inside their 22, they have a long way to go as they go to Houston at the front. Fawcett ball in hand. This one moving forward. They're working just a bit. You see Lou Stanfield, the white number 4 jersey there, calling for it. Petrie again to the boots, putting some pressure, but just getting outside the 22. And we have an advantage for a knock-on against San Diego there. They're going to come for a scrum. Scrums have been a bit of a sore spot against the San Diego team.
Knock on white, scrum blue.
Another opportunity for New York coming.
Yeah, they've got to get where it counts though. They've got to get into that San Diego 22, and they've been struggling to exit their own zone here for about 3-4 minutes. There's another substitution made on the left wing. Gavin Damore Morrison, AIC product, is on in place of Connor Wallace-Sims.
Crouch.
The scrum gets a little slowly started here. Mike Petrie, both scrum halves still in the game. I would call an early drive there against San Diego. So a wily move there by Petrie, and he'll just slow things down here as Foden takes a step in. And we're going to check in with Phaedra on the sidelines.
Yeah, fellas, Seimu Smith, very instrumental in that last turnover and a couple of other turnovers, in fact. He virtually came out of nowhere to New York. He's played rugby for about 2 years in New Haven, Connecticut. Coaching staff discovered him at a RUNY combine, and enamored by his impeccable footwork and pace, they snatched him right up, and the rest was history. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit earlier this week, and he's so excited to be a part of the crew. He commutes in from New Haven every day, but he can't wait to move into the city. He wants to become a professional dog walker. So for all of you dog owners out there, he's your guy.
Thank you, Phaedra. We're back in action here where it's going to be a RUNY line out, and they get it in. Ball's quickly out to a hard-running midfield there. They've got some work to do as they're outside the 22, driven back by that San Diego defense. They are really, really physical late in this game. Ball gets knocked off the referee. They're running back for a scrum to New York. Just a little miscue. One more scrum in this game. Been plenty of those for certain.
Okay, thank you. To my weight a lot better, please. It's okay, thank you. Comfortable and maintain.
Yep, every second wasted arguing about setups and scrums here benefits San Diego, obviously. Not suggesting it's deliberate, but certainly the clock is no longer New York's friend.
See if this front row of New York can hold this one up here. Got a little squeeze on there. Houston takes the ball himself off a miscue by Petrie. Ball spilled forward off of Mike Petrie there. It's going to be a scrum here for San Diego. What a mistake.
Again, as I said, these small moments start to add up. You know, New York, they need to get a little bit of tempo, a little bit of control here. Move up the field a little bit. They've still got 6-7 minutes. All is not lost. Just need one score and a conversion. Perfectly possible. Solid. Milner is.
Crouch.
San Diego scrum this time. The Legion, with just over 5 minutes to go, would love to get this road win, and they get the free kick this time. Smart play by them, and they're going to go quickly. Looking to run are the San Diego boys. Not the kick they wanted. Seimu Smith comes down with it. Let's see what Seimu Smith can do with it. He steps one. That's that footwork Phaedra was talking about there. Takes it into contact. Can they work with the fractured field and get something going? Ball is in the midfield, and they take it down one more time. They've got some runners here. Cahal Mars puts it in the back to Foden. A little knock forward there, and again, those small moments, as you were saying, are adding up for this New York team. They cannot seem to get the right move and get a player into space.
Yeah, opportunity there. Running straight, running hard. Pass just didn't go to hand.
They'll certainly take their time about this one. They'd certainly be happy with just a 5-point win, although they'd love more, the San Diego team, for the long flight home.
Okay, let's go. Okay. Good to come this way.
Just making sure the late scrums are getting set up well.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Augsburger to get us started. No penalties at this scrum as of now.
Stationary,
Ball
use
stable
it.
at the back. Moves the ball to Peterson. Peterson moves it across there to Mattias. Mattias eventually hauled down. Peterson ball in hand. They have numbers here. Peterson steps inside, and Peterson finds a gap on the inside of Smith, and he heads towards the line. No problem. Just canters in. Unobstructed there, and another 5 points for San Diego. Tough moments here for the hometown team. Elation for the San Diego Legion.
Yeah, well, that's probably the nail in the coffin right there. Looked like it had been coming. The ball was moved smartly to the left, and Peterson knifing through that defense. Good sharp run.
Got 3 minutes to go.
And that was just, as you said before, it's as Joe Peterson goes the San Diego Legion. He brings it down here. You see it come down quickly off of one that he set up. And he comes out again, quickly set up, and just Simu Smith had a 3-on-1 there. He's just able to step inside him. Foden was covering over, steps inside him, and Peterson touches down for a try with under 5 minutes to go in this Major League Rugby contest.
Yeah, he just had just enough players outside him to hold those New York defenders and put some doubt in their mind. And as we know, doubt is the enemy, right? Hesitation is the enemy when you're defending.
Peterson to follow up his own try. Demore Morrison comes out to say hello. The referee is going to send it back. He wasn't able to rush that ball too early. Somebody else coming at the ball.
Nope.
And it's pushed wide, so
It's
10
only moved
points,
forward
29-19 with just under 3 minutes to go. The referee said before, things looking tough here for New York unless they can pull a rabbit out of the hat right now. Cahal Marsh has a hold of the ball.
They need something from this restart, a very quick score, and go again.
Backwards.
They've taken this one
Okay, just a knock
and
on.
knocked it on. Another miscue there from New York. We're going to have a scrum here. A very happy Lou Stanfill, you see there. Feeling that they're going to get this win.
Oh, he shouldn't really put his hands in there. It's a rub.
Nosa is in for Peterson for these last couple of minutes. Taya Nosa, wearing number 22 from Oceanside, California.
Okay, let's go.
Played 10
Mark's
times
hit.
for our
Close to
national
that.
team, the U.S. Eagles. You see Marcus Walsh on there in 21 as well. Replacement scrum half in for Petrie. Just to ride out this game. Scrum here for
Bind.
San Diego.
Set.
See Augsburger there in front of one of his hometowns here. A lot of these fans will know him.
Just a slip.
He's got a big supporting cast.
Same
His
squad.
wife is from, Rosie is from the Bronx, and it's good to see him back in New York City. He's a good player, good citizen.
Good man.
Just bring those feet forward with you, and I'll get him this volley position.
Diego just perfectly happy to ride this one out with some slowdowns in the scrums.
Let's get it.
New York will not be able to defend it this time, it looks like.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Good squeeze by New York. Ball off the back there from San Diego. San Diego gets it outside the 22.
How long we got?
Moves out
Cheers, mate.
to one of their reserve
Oh, hands
props there.
release.
San Diego just
That's
needs a
time.
couple of more moves there. Launch downfield. Smith, one more chance here for New York. Moves the ball to Foden. Foden comes back towards Smith. Smith hands on the ball. Runs into Vera Malua. Vera Malua. The Fijian takes him down. Now they're going to move it across wide and look for one more magic moment here. Is this New York team?
Release.
They are certainly a never say die squad. They have their sights set on playoffs and winning this league in their first year as a
Well
professional
clear.
rugby team.
Hands full.
The ball comes to Houston. Houston comes in, and we are in full time right now, referee's time. So when he whistles the game dead, we will know it is. As San Diego continue to put in the big hits, dive over that
Advantage,
ball.
17,
Marcus
I think.
Walsh gets a penalty advantage there. Game cannot end in a penalty. Matina,
Head advantage.
another New York City-born player, gets his hands on the ball, gets a little wraparound there. Demore Morrison comes back in field, and they're still alive. We're going to come back across the field for a penalty against San Diego. You cannot close out a game on a penalty, and they get the line out should they choose to kick it downfield.
That's what they should choose to do.
17. Cheers.
Foden.
It's over here, mate. It's over here.
The referee gives him a little less of an angle to kick it on. Foden pushes it down. Is it going to find touch? It has not found touch. Tayanosa is just going to nudge it into the boards there. And that's it. 29-19, 10 points in it. San Diego Legion has beaten Rugby United New York in this big Major League Rugby contest as San Diego looks for a playoff spot. We'll come back in a minute with final game analysis and highlights, as well as our man of the match, right after this.
I've got him, Frankie.
Major League Rugby is brought to you by Falcon West Insurance Brokers, the official insurance brokers of the San Diego Legion for all of your auto, business, and home insurance needs. San Diego Sports Medicine and Family Health Center, providing the highest quality of care for families and athletes of all levels. And Nelson Securities. Chart your path towards long-term financial success with Nelson Securities. Find out how at nelsonsecurities.com. It's full-time here at MCU Park, where the San Diego Legion 29, New York 19. San Diego Legion pulls it out. We're going to go down on the sidelines with Phaedra Knight with our man of the match.
Nate, not the finish that you wanted, but certainly an impeccable blue-collar performance that you always give. What's in store at this point for New York?
Yeah, I think just frustrating game. We came out hot, scored 2 tries real quick, and then you couldn't really put the pieces together for the rest of the game. So I think this week is going to be looking at what works for us and trying to do more of that and stop throwing the ball away like we were.
All right, thank you, Nate. Good luck with the rest of the season. Look forward to seeing you. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Phaedra. And we are done with this game as we take a look at some updated standings where Rugby United goes to 5th outside of playoff contention right now, and San Diego moves into number 3.
Yeah, good victory for San Diego Legion, obviously. Still 5 games to go, and if you look at it, Rugby United still have a game in hand. So they played one less game than most other teams. So obviously their fate is very much in their hands. It is exciting though. 5 teams at the top. Actually 6 teams. Toronto could still make it 2.
That's lots to play for. That's it for this one. For Steve Lewis, Phaedra Knight, and our entire crew, I'm John Broker, and grateful you've spent this time with us.